Here we go. Nice. 2 people showed up. 4 people showed up. Give me a thumbs up or say yes that you can hear me. For all 5 of you that are here. Y'all can hear me okay? Because now chat's here. Yeah, there's Alani. Yes, 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 yes. Beyonderment, cool. And you can see me just fine. Yes, yes. Oh, thumbs up even? Ooh. Very good, very good. We'll wait for 22 people and then we'll get going. I'm glad it's working out okay. Y'all can hear me just fine. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, Jennifer Menendez, yes. Naya, hi. Okay, I'm going to follow the chat when y'all have questions, so feel free to go for it. So what you're going to need to do is you need to pull out a blank sheet of paper, and this is proof of your homework, or not your homework, of your attendance today. Okay? And what's going to happen is you're going to take a selfie with your notes, and then you're going to post that as you completing today's assignment. So everybody has a picture with them and their smiley faces and the notes that you got from this recording. And that's going to be due today at the end of the period. I'll post it as an assignment. Take a selfie with your notes and your beautiful face. And then you're going to post that in there. And so that way I know that you guys did your work. Sound good? You don't have to be in it. You could just kind of show that you're kind of like something. Maybe your ear. I don't know. Okay. So it works. Cool. Thank you, Janelle. So there's 12 people. I still need 10 more people. 24. So they need to get in here before we get started. So I'll put a remind real quick, and then but I need to wait. So text all the people that you know, and then we could get going. New YouTube link is posted. Get in there. We're waiting for you. New YouTube link is posted. Get in there. We're waiting for you. Okay, I sent it. So those of you guys are in here, obviously ignore it. There's 15 and need about 7 more people, and we'll be good to go. Oh, I sent that to the wrong period. Damn it. Sorry. Wrong period. I'm an idiot. This is period 1. 16 people in here. We need 6 more. New YouTube link is posted. Get in there. We're waiting for you. Okay, boom. All right. All right. So let's get started. So if you're here, you're here. And that's how I know that you guys got your homework done. Okay. So get the blank sheet of paper and tell me when you're ready. So I'm going to put this down, and so you guys can see my notes. And I need to flip it so everything looks correct. So go back to the mirror when it was upside down, and then we will flip. I think mirror is what it is. Yep. Okay. Is everything right side up now? Like it should show my left hand. Yes. So imagine this as your whole 8x11 paper. This is only my notepad, but imagine that. So that way you could see the scale, because you're gonna put it on its side, and I'm going to draw the diagram that's going to help us. Okay? Can someone confirm to me that this is showing correctly? My left hand is on the left hand on your screen? Yes? Can someone type that, please? It's showing your right hand. Okay. Well, as long as it's right side up. Tell me if it's writing backwards, though. So what you should put on the upper left hand is title it Plato's Allegory of the Cave. Allegory of the Cave. Uh-oh, chat is blowing up. Wait, it's your right hand. It's backwards. It's backwards. It's backwards. No, mirror it. No, Mata, it's backwards. It's backwards. Is it backwards? Because everyone's telling me it's backwards. So okay, let me try and fix the camera again. Okay. So instead of mirror, let's go flip. Is that better? Is that better? Yes? No. Now it's upside down. My goodness. Why can't I just be in a regular classroom with you? Now it's upside down. Okay. Okay, it's upside down. Is it upside down? Let me go back. Let's go like this. How about this? Is that better? No? Still upside down? Almost. How about this? Better? Same thing, upside down. How about this? Better? Looks better on my screen. No, I'm getting there. Uh, Here, right here. Now mirror it. Wait, 0. Now what do I do? I'm just clicking buttons. You lost progress. Oh, right there. Leave it there. There. Good, good, good. Okay, good. Okay, I'm leaving. This is so funny to talk to you guys. Okay, all right, that's all right. Well, it's backwards to me, but it's okay as long as y'all can see it. It's good. It's good. It's good. Okay, here we go. So Plato's allegory of the cave. So this is gonna take pretty much the whole piece of paper. So I'm going to take a straight edge. And those of you guys who've seen this lecture before, you'll actually get something new out of it this time around because you have changed. And I see something new every time I do it. So I'm going to take a straight edge and just kind of draw like a big old, you might want to use different colors too, by the way. So a big old mountain. And then I'm going to draw like this. And then I'm going to go straight. I'm going to exaggerate this cave in this mountain by making a big old hole in it just for sake of the diagram. I'm kind of impressed that these lines are that straight without the straight edge. And then we'll draw the end of the mountain, right? And this is the mountain. See, a little snow-capped mountain. Cool. Plato's allegory of the cave. I'm going to do this. And then this little, like, area just kind of trails off. And there's this giant cave. Okay. So everyone's listening to me. Everyone's good. Like, I need your feedback. We're good, good, good. Okay. So when you get in here, like you look at the cave, and inside this cave, according to Plato, just as an analogy, are a bunch of prisoners. So let me draw a room to where it's like kind of like three-dimensional. So I'm thinking like something like this, boom, and then boom. So we got a little three-dimensional room. So there's this back wall, right? And then you have these prisoners. So there's a prisoner here. Just draw these little stick figures. And then like there's his wife or husband, however you want to think about it. And then there's like some, So these prisoners have been here for generations. They don't even think that they don't even know themselves as prisoners. Okay. So like their grandparents have been prisoners. And if they're prisoners, they're kind of like tied down to ball and chain. So so everyone's copying what I'm writing. You're supposed to do all of this. Copying with me. So there's his ball and chain, little kid, ball and chain. I don't know why my dog is barking. Take care of him, Ivan. So there's this ball and chain, and they're stuck in this cave, but they don't even realize that they're in the cave. This is their whole world. And what's interesting is that all these prisoners, it's not just a family of four, it's like a whole community of people. They are forced to face the back wall. They only know to face the back wall. So you guys are copying all of this, drawing all of this, because this is going to show proof that you're listening to the interview. The interview, not the interview, the lecture. Okay, so they're facing the back wall. But what's interesting is, and I'm going to get a different color, is I'm going to, outside of the cave, so there's a line here that's going to represent outside and inside the cave. Well, the prisoners don't even know there's such thing as an outside. But outside the cave is a giant fire, like a bonfire. So I got my little red pencil, color pencil. You got this giant fire. There's a stalk of wood, and so there's this giant fire in the outside of the cave, but they don't know that there's a fire because they be facing the back wall. But outside, there are also people. So I'm going to draw people in a different color, like in pencil. So I have the blue caveman, and then I have a fire outside. There's the line that represents outside, right? And then we have like other people outside the cave,
and both communities don't know about each other. So outside the fire, there are these, sort of like they're the same species, right? But they're just different. Okay. So like these people, they're like farmers because they have a fire. So here's his little farmer hat, and then like he's got a wife too, or a husband or whatever, and so she be walking around the fire, or he be walking. Okay, just trying to be gender equity. And she got a basket over her head, and inside is a bunch of fruit and vegetables. And then like the two sons are like, they're over here off to the side. Now they're not prisoners, they're just doing their whole thing outside, right? So these guys, these brothers and sisters, they caught a boar, and they caught it. So they're carrying it on this wood, and they're carrying this boar upside down that they killed because they're gonna have a big old barbecue. Okay. So they caught it out here in the forest. They're going to bring it up the road, cook it for tonight's dinner after a full day of Wednesday classes. They're just going to enjoy themselves. So as they cook this food from the outside, mom and dad are making the veggies and etc. Because they're doing it around the big fire. Okay, this is what all your drawings should look like. It casts a shadow to the black wall. So you have these images, right, that kind of reflect, right, but it's shadows, right? And so there's, these weird shadows, so on and so forth. And the people inside don't even know there's an outside. So they just see these weird shadows, and it's to them because they don't realize it's a shadow, and they can't touch the wall. All they do is face it over generations and generations. They've been seeing these shadows. They think that this is something supernatural. Supernatural because it's not obviously the same as them, but they think it's some kind of supernatural message to them. So this is sort of what sources their understanding about life here, because they think life ends and starts inside this cave because they don't even realize there's an outside. This makes sense? Okay. How are we doing so far? Am I going too fast? Like somebody tell me in the text. How are we doing? Someone text something quick. We good? We good? We good? We're good. Menendez says we're good. Okay. Cool, cool. It's good. So kind of fascinating here, right? So these weird shadows, thank you guys. These weird shadows are going to represent, I'm going to take my notes here. This represents their, I'm going to put in quotes underneath the title of this lecture, but under right here, this wall represents like quote unquote reality. And I'm going to put another line underneath to talk about what quote unquote reality is. This is where these prisoners, is it straight? There you go. This is where these prisoners think their value systems come from. So I'm going to put value systems. And value systems means things like good versus bad. And if you think about it also, things like their reality of value systems could be things like beauty. This is where they think what beautiful means and how it's defined. Makes sense? What else could these prisoners get from these mystical shadows? Like good versus bad, beauty, their ideas of what success means versus failure, their idea of what happiness is. And you could add to the list as we continue. And if you have something dope to add to this list, tell me, okay, as we go on. So it says like only one point of view. Yes, thank you, Jennifer. So this is their point of view from this, which they can't understand where it comes from. Do you guys see what I'm saying here? And so this, in a lot of ways, if we were to see what how it applies to today, what do you think this back wall would represent in our lives as if we are prisoners that kind of tell us where we get our ideas of value, like good versus bad, beauty? And I'd like to see some in the text. What do you think this could be for us possibly? One answer you should be saying would be like, and I'll put in parentheses up here, Like what? Come on, talk to me on the text or on the chat. What could that be for us today? This back wall. So okay, Jennifer, culture, good. Where does how do we define culture? Keep going with that, Jennifer. You're saying parents would be parents here, but they are telling us down here, these kids, what they're getting here. So what could this be? Culture is a great idea, but where do we learn about our cultures? Social norms, very good. So I like that. I like that. So reality is social norms, but where do we learn definitions of our social norms? You guys should be writing all this down. Where do we get dang media? That's what I'm looking for. The news, media. Who's MTJ? I don't know who that is. So we're gonna put media. Media is like what our norms, quote unquote, and I'm gonna put quotes around that too. And our ideas. Oh, Jake Manier, dope. Our reality, right? And that's what shapes all these different ideas. Does this make sense? So this is what's crazy about it. Just to follow the analogy, though. Okay. So homie over here. Let's take a look at homie over here. We'll put a little hat on him so we could distinguish him from the other prisoners. Because otherwise, everybody looks and acts the same in this cave because they're all deriving their norms, their social norms, from one source. And it's continued over generations and generations, just as you had said. And again, feel free to type any questions as you just think about it and just type it and keep, because it helps me like cater to you guys. Okay. So this guy right here, he's screwing around with his ball and chain, right? And what he notices by accident is that the padlock to lock his ankle into the ball and chain, his prison hood, is actually not locked. And he accidentally slips out of his lock, his ball and chain. So naturally, his mind is just going like, what? It's like, he's like, what the heck? What's going on? Like, this is not supposed to happen. He almost feels guilty about it. You see what I'm saying? So what's he naturally going to do because it's unlocked? All of you should be thinking he's going to what? Type it in. What's he going to do when he sees that it's unlocked? What's he naturally going to do when he's up in here? Maybe even put it back on. Good, because he's feeling guilty. It's so funny. I think that reflects something. He's going to look behind him, or he's probably going to be walking around. He leaving it. He might go to the wall. He's going to realize, but if he takes it off, he's going to get in trouble if everyone sees him. So he's already secretive about losing this. That's why I can see why some of y'all be like, oh, he's going to put it back on. Okay, true. But if he's walking around, he's already like, dude, I'm already walking at a different pace because I don't have to drag this big old ball and chain around. He's already like, his mind's already being blown. And as he's walking around, where is he going to end up? Because now he's walking around freely. Type it. Where is he going to walk? Come on now. Type. Please, show me you're here. He going to walk outside. So as he walks outside, boom, 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 because he's never even thought about this. What in the fire? Oh no. That's funny. He walks outside, but just as he gets outside the cave, the sunlight over here, and this is important that you draw the sun, okay? Sun, 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 and the happy face. Because that's going to represent something else too. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see it. Okay, is that better? We're good? You can see everything? You can see the sun? Now can you see? We good? Okay. So he's walking outside. There's that threshold again, that line. And as he gets outside, because for centuries he's been used to the darkness of this cave, initially when he's outside, it's what? It's too freaking bright. He can't even see everything. And finally, over time, his eyes acclimate to what's really going on. And as he opens his eyes, so he walks out, and I'm going to do this on purpose. So here's his footsteps, 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 footsteps. He comes outside and he sees all the different villagers. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go like this. It's still blue. There's his feet. There's no ball and chain this time. There's his arms. But I'm going to change his head to this color because what's happened to him in his head now that he's bloop, 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 walked outside without a ball and chain. Let's put his hat on again. There's his hat. What's a red hat now to represent the outside? Okay, so what do you think this represents? That the fact that now this is no longer this, that he's sunburnt, Jacob. Not that he just sunburnt, but like obviously that his whole worldview is changing because he's seeing this and he recognizes them. Why does he recognize them? Why does he recognize all these other folks? Put it in there. Why does he recognize them? He recognizes them because why? What's he been seeing the whole time? Please type it. Please type. The shadows look familiar. They looking kind of familiar, right? He's seen them all his life. Very good. On the wall. But then he also understands, and this is enlightenment. Okay, okay, I get it. Okay, everybody's okay. Got it, got it, got it. Thank you. He also recognized, and I know y'all are busting up. This is why I wish I could hear you guys. He recognizes that all those shadows are not real. He sees the truth behind it. He sees all this stuff that they've been worshiping on here. Media is not actually real. It's all a myth. These people are just like them, just without the constraints of their prison ship, their prisonhood. Does this make sense? So he's walking around interacting. What is the first thing he wants to do now that he realizes the truth of out here? The reality of this outside the cave. What does he want to do? Type, tell me, talk. Come on, let's go. Tell the others. Tell everyone else in the cave. Very good. So now, as he's going back, he's going to go back full blown back inside, but he's totally different now. He's looking all the way over because he's seeing what's going on. So now he's walking back. Even his footsteps look different. He's walking a little bit faster because he's no longer disorientated from dragging that ball and chain around. Here's his hat, right? Makes sense? And people in here like, the hell you doing without your chain? Boy, what are you doing? And he tells them, guys, this thing right here is shadows. It's because there's a giant fire that's really hot. I know you don't know what that is, but if you touch it, it hurts. But they be barbecuing. They call it barbecuing out here. And they farm and they have vegetables. Here's a little vegetable patch of all the cool things. You see what I'm saying? And they put them in baskets. And you think that this is some weird figure of somebody's head? That's a basket. They could take that off. And they're like, no, it's some weird figure. Because for centuries and hundreds of years, it's always been that way. So how are they going to react towards him saying none of this is real? What are they going to think about him? Tell me. Damn, how long was he out there for? A couple days, enough to know the truth and want to come back. But tell me, how are the people going to react to him now he's come back? Talk to me. That he's crazy, that you're blasphemous, that you're a heretic. What this is supposed to represent, guys, this is part of the lecture here, is all of this is figments of our mind. You see what I'm saying? Our realities technically are different caves, or a cave derived probably from some kind of a source that might possibly be not the truth. This is where it gets hard. Because truth, according to Plato, is somewhat relative. Yeah, Xander, that's right. Like this dude is tripping, right? Look at what happens here though, because as he's coming back in here saying, look, I know my own reality, you're rejecting me. He naturally, people in here may or may not want to join him. Now, why might like someone else in the prison community, they'd be like, dude, I kind of I hear you. I think you're not lying. I don't think you're a heretic. And I want to join you. But why might this person right here not want to join? Talk to me. Why might this person not want to join? Well, because the community, and I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put cave community. This provides something. What does this community bang? And I think you're talking about it because you remember from last year, Naya. So yeah, like it represents safety because you have a community, right? It represents I'm reading it, comfort because everybody has a shared belief. There is safety and comfort from having a shared belief. So if even though this person knows that this is actually the truth, they might want to keep this on because this is what they've based their whole value of life system in. You will be sacrificing community, safety, comfort, um, protection. Now we can think of why anything that is sort of outside the ideas of cave thinking might be rejected. Fear of being very good, dominant. Excellent, excellent. So now you have to think what are possible examples of our society that reject typical realities? Because then this whole thing, remember, is social norms. Think about social norms, right? That uh might think that anything against the social norms is heretic and wrong. What are some of those examples today? And we kind of touched on it today, right? Why are the people not outside helping out? Maybe they will. This is what societies are. But this is where it gets interesting. Because, okay, well, what I was thinking about is like possibly, real quick, because I got a million things going in my head now, is the idea that, like, could this red person be like, for example, this person's reality might be a different sexual orientation. We could see that the norms of this society might reject this person's truth. Do you guys see what I'm saying here? Those are the big ones. There could be something as simple as styles. Forget about the hard ones, right? Styles come from this. Let me add that. Styles. If you do something different than the styles, don't you get roasted for being just a little bit red when everybody blue? Talk to me. You guys see what I'm saying? So we got styles. This, I mean, let's put it in here. The value systems represent orientation. Oh, how about this? Things like, now we're being really specific, gender expectations. How about this? How about this is like also race performance, like what it means to be a certain race. You have to perform this sort of norm, social norm. Y'all following me so far about this? Does this make sense? And if you do anything outside of the norm of your particular community's race, for example, aren't you seen as a heretic? Don't they oust you back out? Now, what's interesting, think about styles just for the sake of a different analogy I want to speak on. Let's say styles change. And because he comes in with the new style, and let's say everybody be about it, they'd be like, dang, that looks fly. Once everybody starts to take on the new style, what ends up happening when they try to dress red when they be wearing blue the whole time? You know what happens? Check it out. Once everyone tried to be getting outside, because you see this happen in history all the time, this whole damn thing becomes becomes its own cave all over again. What? See the mountain, same mountain as this. As people try to evolve, they say, "Oh, cool," because if once this do it, everyone's still the same. Bang, bang, another mountain over and over and over again. Now, style can do that, but other things. This is where we could see problems right now in today's society, right? Like, what are the controversial issues? Relationships with races, orientation, gender expectations, ableism, economic statuses is what's confining people from being separated. Hey, check it out. I could even make it simpler. Look at how we treat people who are from Norco versus Eastville. Hey, you want to see how it turned into this cave? Look at how Norco and Eastville are all up in this, but out here, outside of this cave, see it out here? This is Orange County and how they look at everybody in here. You see? And that's a derogatory term, Jacob. Norco sucks and all this stuff. Look at how y'all being cavemen by looking at that. This is also geographical norms. You could add that in this one, value systems. Does this make sense? So I want you to think about this because as it applies to what's going on with today's world. Everybody understand that? You have to post this along with posting your notes on here. I want you to think about it. I'm going to post a question that you have to answer, um, and you just have to give a short response to it in context of Plato's cave. Are there any questions regarding this so far? Are we good? Because class is almost over, and I hope this is a great lecture. And I'm gonna send this to other class. I'm gonna post this so that you could rewatch the lecture to formulate more questions if you like. Any questions? We sound good? Yeah, I have one. Go ahead. Come on, type it. Just don't, hurry up. Let's go. Let's do it. Tell me what your question is, and see how it applies or how it doesn't apply. Are you saying that there are no truths? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what Plato, not me, by the way, not Mata. Plato is suggesting critique about the truths that we have. Now, there's nothing wrong with truth if you are comfortable in this cave and you have no need. There's nothing wrong with this inside here. Great question, Christian. Okay. The problem is, though, could it be possible that there are also lifestyles that are against your truth? Everyone has their own truth. Can we talk after class? Well, class is over. And so y'all could talk to each other, but this is just the beginning, baby. So I have to end it. I will pause this lecture and we will definitely talk. So hold on to your questions, write them down, and then we will discuss on Friday, okay, or next week, okay? But your homework until Monday is to answer the question I'm going to post, which I'm obviously not telling you yet, and a selfie with you in the notes so that I know that you did it. Okay? Everybody good? Do you want to talk to what? No to me, Mata. What? Can we talk after class? Yeah, we could talk after class. And then or we could talk this afternoon, Jennifer. Okay? Just message me and then I'll give you a Zoom link and we'll talk face to face. What's an example of the outside? Hold on to these questions and you'll see. Okay. Okay. Zenar. So, are you talking about how truths are different based on perspective? Yes, I am. But sometimes it's not just perspective. It could also be people's real reality. Like orientation is not perspective. That's just who they is, who they are. You see what I'm saying here? Okay. Class, it's 8:56. I need you to get 8 minutes of passing period so you could walk to your other classes and say hello to your boyfriends and girlfriends during passing period. And I miss you already. Again, your homework is to answer my question and a selfie with you and your notes. And also write down questions that you have about this quick lecture. Okay. I hope this was interesting. Was it interesting? We have 4 minutes till 9 o'clock. I thought class was over at 8:56. Okay. Well, then if we have 4 minutes, then shoot your questions right now, or tell me what you think about this, or talk to me on the chat. But I can't end the stream because then you're going. It's very interesting. Cool. Okay, type in so I can see what you think. Questions. There's SM to talk about. So much to talk about. Yes, there is. Write them down so we don't forget. Okay, and then I'll review this obviously, and then you could rewatch this, and then you'll be like, "What?" Class starts at 9:08. Does it? Okay. Well, fire your questions then. Let's go. What you got? I want everyone to say something on here. Is it confusing? What parts are you confused about? What's an example of the outside? Well, if we were going to go down with like things like good and bad, just give me what are examples that are bad according to the quote unquote truth of good in here. But when in reality, this bad isn't actually that bad. So I would think of something like beauty, for example. Beauty is such a normal thing, like colorism within beauty. Outside the norm is to look at folks that like I could look at any. See, now I could be here for hours now. Like what you think is like, oh, this is uniquely beauty to me, is I the whole beholder, blah 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 blah. The irony is that there's a pattern of what you think to be a unique beauty for you. That's the outside. Does that make sense, Christian? I feel I understand more than what I got it from last year. Oh, good, Destiny. But does that make sense, Christian? I wish y'all were in front of me in real live, but this is the digital way it is. So, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, and the real question that shows me that you're understanding, Christian, is if you can think of ideas of inside outside group too. And think of it, inside, outside group, and then how people get chastised for being outside group. This is the majority norm in here. That's the main point of what Plato is talking about. Okay. All right. There's another part about inside and outside. Remind me, and I'll tell you guys next week. And it has something to do with imagination. And I'm going to explain that later. Okay. That's it for now. Go, be gone. Peace and love. You know your homework assignments, and I miss you already. Deuces.